The Roe v. Wade leak is now over 33 hours old. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. This morning, we're going to talk seriously about what we know and separate it from the useless speculation and the overwrought reaction, which I will not discuss. If senators and representatives want to say and do silly things, let them. We're going to be about hard facts today. Before I begin, I want to shout out to the sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of good merchandise there, including this rhino hunting t-shirt. And now I want to tell you about another sponsor, BitNext. This is your replacement for Zoom, Slack, the Google G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and Chili Piper, among others. Unlike any of them, BitNext protects your content and conversations so well, even the administrators can't see it. So this is your channel for secure comms, conferencing, cloud storage, and file sharing. Best of all, everything is back-end, so you don't even need client software. If you have a browser, you can use BitNext. Follow the link at the very bottom and give them a try. 28 days free of charge. You can't beat that with a stick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to brass tacks with this Roe v. Wade leak and think critically, meaning like a judge. The first thing we know is that the Roe v. Wade document is authentic. Chief Justice John Roberts himself said so, and I don't think he's lying about that. His statement on it has all the outrage one would expect. The Daily Wire copied the statement on its Twitter account, and I have a link to it in the description so you can read it for yourselves. Now, let's examine the most salient excerpts. Quote, "The document described in yesterday's reports is authentic." Unquote. Well, the Chief Justice should know, because he would have seen the original document and would recognize its image. Next thing, quote, "It does not represent a decision by the court or the final position of any member on the issues in the case." Unquote. True, as far as that goes, because it is, after all, a first draft. First drafts circulate to all of the justices, then any member may join the opinion, write a concurring opinion, or write a dissent. The byline for any majority opinion always takes the form Justice A writing for the court, in which Justices B, C, D, E, and whoever else join. Beyond that, the final draft always addresses each dissent, quoting it briefly and then rebutting it. When you understand this, you see that you cannot infer that the opinion will necessarily conclude differently. Next, John Roberts projects defiance. If anyone thought they would undermine the integrity of court operations, they will not, said the Chief Justice. After that, he speaks of a workforce loyal to the institution and dedicated to the rule of law. Well, now, someone has violated that trust, and you know that has made the Chief Justice absolutely furious. Naturally, he has called for an investigation. And that is all we reliably have from the Supreme Court. We cannot know how any other member feels about it. We can only guess, and guessing is not a useful exercise here. As Flight Director Gene Kranz no doubt said after a fuel cell aboard Apollo 13 blew up, "Let's work the problem. Let's not make things worse by guessing." Next question. Who did it? And why did they do it? Most people seem to think a leftist law clerk made the leak. Since the document is real, that's how it must have gone down. Someone first stole a hard copy off a justice desk in chambers, then ran it through a court copying machine, then put the document back where he found it so the justice wouldn't notice, and then gave the copy to Politico.com. So who could have done it? The clerk could have been clerking for any of the justices, but most likely was clerking for a liberal justice. That would mean Breyer, Kagan, or Sotomayor. As it happens, Justice Sotomayor has a reputation for intemperance on the bench. Observe, for instance, her conduct of oral argument in the vaccine mandate case. I'm not even going to belabor you with quotes from that Q&A session. I'll just link to a video of it in the description. I mean, it is something you have to hear to believe. She literally couldn't keep her facts straight. And according to witnesses, she always hired the most radical of clerks. Now, I have heard almost as many theories as people offering them to say, why did they do it? Did the people involved seek to intimidate the court or some of its members? Or did they seek to galvanize their fellow leftists into voting in primary and general elections this year? Or merely to distract the public from Joe Biden's mental fog and policy failures? But Chief Justice Roberts and the Marshal of the Court have another problem. Whoever leaked the document had help from others. I'm not talking about someone from Politico.com showing up in the parking deck to take the manila 9x12 envelope. I'm talking about some very interesting preparations. Why did riot barriers go up around the Supreme Courthouse ahead of the leak? How could an angry mob ready to picket the court assemble so quickly? Someone tipped them off. And whoever did that also made sure the barriers would be up so that they could not enter. Nor would those barriers have gone up if someone did not know that a need would arise for them. For that reason, we now have to ask a Watergate-style question. What did the Chief Justice know, and when did he know it? Of course, leftist politicians and activists expressed the usual outrage. Whether that was real or fake, we don't know. But David Kaminer at LifeZette suggested that the leak will only backfire. According to his theory, Roberts and the other members will double down on scrapping Roe as a matter of honor. Associated Press staff now report that pro-life activists are already planning for the next phase, legislating state by state in a post-Roe world. Watch for another video in which I talk about that. Links to the description of the article, to John Roberts' statement, to the Sotomayor video, and to Conservative News and Views. I have another link to the awesome online store and to BitNext, as I mentioned. And if you like what you've heard, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.